Afkari, this 27-year-old wrestling star in Iran who was he just executed. Well, let me tell you what. We're first going to get CBS to just summarize the news for us. Then we're going to do Masih Alinejad's response to it. We're going to cover that. And so also Masih Alinejad, she had a recording of Navid from before he died, like his message to the world right before he died. And then, well, this is an article just saying the proof of his torture, so that there are proof that he was tortured when he, so anything that he said, anything that he admitted to was under torture. And then I'm going to try to do this really quickly so that right after I'm done, I could make a post here. So anybody that wants to come up and talk to me live on air, you could hop on this call. It will be to members only. So if you're a member, you could, if you want, you could come and talk about this. Just make sure that your audio is good, and that you know that you're going to be live on air. Anyways, let's just listen to this very short summary of what happened for people who don't know. Okay. F11.
Iran executed a popular wrestling star today despite an international campaign to save him. That included a plea from President Trump. 27-year-old Navid Afkari was convicted of murder and the stabbing death of a government worker during a protest in 2018. Iran released a video of his confession, said to be given under torture. Recently, President Trump tweeted Afkari's only crime was, quote, protesting the country's worsening economic situation, adding, I would greatly appreciate if you would spare this young man's life.
All right, so that was a very quick and short summary. Let's see what Masih Alinejad says. Okay.
Hi.
Look at her voice. My gosh, her voice is like cracked. She's so sad. Oh my goodness. All right, and her tweet, her caption is saying, "We Iranian people are furious because the Islamic Republic killed one of us for the crime of protesting, and this is not acceptable in the 21st century. Here, what we demand from international community. If you agree, please support. Navid Afkari was innocent." Again, I retweeted this. Thank you, Masih Alinejad, for everything you do. Actually, let me just make this. Yeah.
Hi, everyone. My name is Masih Alinejad. I'm an Iranian journalist and activist. I want to tell you that today, Iranian people are furious because the Islamic Republic, our regime, killed an innocent wrestler for the crime of protesting in 21st century. But when I read the comments through my social media, there's only one message to the rest of the world, that we are not just sad. We are furious because we see that the international community, especially the Western government, turned a blind eye on what's going on in Iran. Navid's mother, who I talked to her, I interviewed her, told me that she checked the judiciary system's website every morning to make sure whether her son is alive or not. And he is not. Navid sent an audio message from the prison before he got killed, saying that if I got killed by the regime, tell the rest of the world that I was innocent. And in 21st century, I couldn't save my life. So that was his message. The government accused him of killing a security guard. But this is a big lie because they didn't have any evidence. There was no free media to cover this fake trial. He was not allowed to have his own lawyer. And most important than this, the judiciary system took 2 of his brothers hostage and forced them to do false confession, false testimony against their brother. So you see, this is not acceptable and this is not normal in 21st century. Now, we have one simple demand. We Iranian people ask the international community to boycott the Islamic Republic from all international sports, because when they don't understand the language of diplomacy, then you have to boycott them. Otherwise, they are going to kill more protesters for sure. Your silence will help the killers.
So Sal is saying, did Nabil kill someone while protesting? Did he stab someone? So that's the allegation, and there's zero evidence for that. The only thing they had for him to say that, so they say he stabbed somebody while protesting, but the only so-called evidence they have for that is his admission, again quote unquote admission, under torture. And even based on Islamic Republic standard, this was one of the worst rushed executions with zero evidence, nothing. And even based on Islamic Republic's own laws that they ignore, such an admission under torture could not be used against them. But the evidence for that was so bad that they rushed it. So, like, people, when they woke up to this news that he was executed, like the speed at which they went by this and tried to like just get it done with, it was shocking based on people that were like, people did not expect this. Like, this is I know it's hard to believe, but this was like a new law even for based on Islamic Republic standards. And it's obvious that they're trying to hide something, right? And yeah, and also so there was the admission that he gave. There were so obvious signs of torture, and the parents of Navid really tried to go get it documented. They tried to get like a doctor come and show all the signs on his body that he was tortured, but all of that was being. I don't know if you guys want me to read this Persian article. Is this a recent one? Yeah, this is actually a recent one. Let me know if you want me to read this Persian article and translate it for you guys. That talks about the evidence of torture, and but let's actually listen to the second video that Masih Alinejad posted. It's gonna be Persian, but there's translation here, and I'm gonna read the translation. So the caption for this audio is, listen to Navid Afkari's heartbreaking ordeal. This is what Navid had sent to the world in an audio message before from jail. From jail, his execution. Okay, I don't know what that is. He had asked, where was I? He had asked the world to hear his voice and the injustice he suffered from, and what the regime did to his family. Today they killed him. Okay, let me see actually what you guys are saying. I will pay more attention to the live chat, guys, once this is over, and I will get some of you to come. And if you want to talk to me about it. Hold on. All right, let me actually make sure I read the subtitle. Dear honorable Iranian people. This is Navid speaking before he died. My name is Navid Afkari. I've exhausted all resorts to the justice system of the Islamic Republic. So this is him right before he knows that it's over, like he's going to die, like there's no hope for him. They rejected my request for a retrial. This means after 2 years. Oh yeah, so he was sentenced to death in 2018, right? After the so he's been waiting for this for 2 years. But again, when I say it was rushed, like when they announced the execution and then when it happened, that was the part that it was rushed. Okay, like it wasn't like, oh, one thing else that it's not being mentioned in any of this. According to Iranian according to Iranian law, when somebody is about to get executed, they announce it. There's a date announced, and also you get one last visit with your family. He didn't get that. It was like he didn't get that last visit with his family. Like his family just woke up and just like, oh yeah, your son is dead, by the way. So even based on their own law, they denied him the things that they were supposed to give him. Like he himself probably woke up like, okay, you're gonna get executed. Like, okay, I'm gonna go say goodbye to my family. Like, nope, you're not getting that. Sorry, execution time. This means after 2 years, the judiciary has decided to execute me.
این یعنی بعد از 2 سال خون دیگر خوردن تکلیف اون به قوه قضاییه معلوم شد و قرار من به حکم خالی از شرافت و عدالت قضات پرونده اعدام بشم.
Neither the court nor the judge heard our pleas for justice.
نه دادگاهی صدای ما رو شنید و نه اصلا قاضی و مسئول دادخواهی وجود داشت که بخواد به حرفمون گوش بده.
Yeah, there was no appeal process. That was for a case with so little evidence. I mean, not little evidence, zero evidence. There was not even an appeal process. Like, God, this is so stupid. You know, they don't just make a mockery of human rights. They make a mockery out of their own standards that they have written on their own laws. Like, they're ignoring the minimum standards that they have, which is already a joke. They even ignore that. If I've been silent up to now, that's because I've expected justice to be delivered. Oh my goodness.
اگرم تا الان سکوت کرده بودیم فقط و فقط به امید اجرای عدالت بود و بس. ولی از این لحظه به بعد من و خانواده‌ام نیاز به کمک داریم.
He's like he knows that his death is soon. He's like, we tried everything, guys. Please, like, help me. But me and my family really need help. My God.
روی صحبت من فقط با
I'm not addressing just Iranians, guys. See, this is for people that say that this is an Iranian thing. No, this is not an Iranian thing. Okay, this is a human rights thing. This is a world issue. Okay, again, it doesn't matter which country anybody is from. If they're suffering, this suffering is the world's responsibility to address.
ایران نیست. مخاطب من
I'm addressing anyone who values human dignity.
هر آدمی که
So it's like, this is not a message for Iranian people. This is a message for anybody who values human dignity.
انسانیت میزنه و ذره‌ای از شرافت توی وجودش هست.
Your silence means support for repression and brutality.
سکوت شما یعنی حمایت از ظلم و ظالم، یعنی حمایت از اعدام شدن یک بیگناه.
My God, he sounds so desperate. He sounds so desperate from one last plea to everybody to help him. And it didn't work. Or me getting closer to the gallows.
بگم نزدیکتر شدن من به چوبه اعدام. شنیده بودم سر بیگناه پای دار میره ولی بالای دار نمیره.
Oh, there's no caption here, but he's saying that there's a saying, and this is an Iranian saying, that an innocent man might be taken to right next to the gallows, but he will never be executed. Like, basically, it's a saying is that innocent people will survive. Like, but he's saying that's a lie. That saying is a lie.
ولی دروغه. داریم میبینیم که همش دروغ بوده.
Where's there? Oh. Okay, the reason why they didn't put a caption there is because translating Iranian sayings into English is difficult. So I think that's why there was no caption there. Now it's saying the Islamic Republic of Iran is about to execute an innocent person like me.
به حکم دستگاه قضایی جمهوری اسلامی ایران یه بیگناه به اسم نوید افکاری داره هر لحظه به تناب به دار نزدیکتر میشه.
They've shut down my voice and they're now about to take my life.
و اگه صداشو خفه کنن، اگه تنها بمونه زندگیشو ازش میگیرن و آبم از آب تکون نمیخوره.
I'm asking every freedom-loving person from any ideology.
حالا من از هر انسان آزاده و حق طلب با هر عقیده و مسلکی که هستن میخوام صدای من و خانواده
be my voice and that of my family.
چون شرافت
Because humans' honor without the right to justice has no meaning.
انسانی جز با حمایت از حق و عدالت معنایی نداره.
Man, it's hard to believe that this is like we're listening to an audio from somebody that was just alive yesterday and now it's been hanged to death. People in the name of so-called justice in this country, I'm about to lose my life.
مردم، من به حکم عقل و انسانیت موظف به حفاظت از جان خودم هستم و از مدارک
I have all kinds of documents to prove my innocence.
مستندات هر آنچه که گواه بیگناهی من موجوده.
With all these documents, if ever I'm executed.
همه مدارکی که جمع کردیم و مطالبی که دارم میگم برای اینه که اگر من اعدام شدم همه بدونن تو قرن 21 با این همه هزینه.
Oh wait, hold on. I missed the part. People should know that with all these documents that I have, people should know that in the 21st century,
بدونن تو قرن 21 با این همه هزینه و
with all this talk of human rights by the United Nations in the world,
سازوکارهای حقوق بشری و سازمان ملل و شورای امنیت
they still executed innocent people in Iran.
و غیره که انسان بیگناه در حالی که با تمام توانش تلاش کرده جنگی.
Look, he's still alive at this point when he's talking, but he's talking about his own execution as if it's in the past tense. Like he probably knows that people are going to be listening to him after his execution, and he's speaking about it like he's talking about his own death as if it's in the past.
تا صداش بشنون اعدام.
They still executed innocent people in Iran. Know that if ever I'm executed, I won't be the first victim of this injustice in this country.
بدونید آگاه باشید اگر من بیگناه اعدام شدم عقل و منطق حکم میکنه که این اولین قربانی بی‌عدالتی این بیدادگاه به اصطلاح عدالت محور نبوده.
My goodness. Anyways, let me see. Let me actually bring you guys up here if you guys want to. If you don't, no pressure, by the way. But if you do come here, make sure that this is going to be to our channel members. But make sure that it's about, if you ask any questions, it's going to be about this, or if you want to talk about Iran or human rights as a whole. Okay, it's posted for, it's on the community tab on the YouTube channel, but it's for our members only. So let me just look at this article in case anybody shows up. Let me see what you guys are saying. Iran needs a revolution. Yes. Yes, it does. Let me see what this one is saying. If in case, I'll pay attention to the live chat as well. Okay. So it's saying the father and mother of this. Okay. The father and mother of this person, they put out a letter to the head of the judicial system, asking for the tortures to be, for the documents of, for the evidence of the torture of to be documented. Yeah, okay. I'm not gonna. It's gonna be hard for me to translate this live on air. But let me see what you guys are saying. I'm gonna focus on you guys. Fatima is saying too depressing. Soha is saying R.I.P. Navid Afkari. Fuck Khamenei. Indeed, fuck Khamenei. I'm at the end of my rope. The IRI seems unstoppable now. It does seem unstoppable, but we can't give up, guys. AJ is saying the Iranian government is just gross. Time for revolution. Yep, I agree. Frostbite saying revolutions rarely work. Yeah, but it depends on how it's carried. I mean, we have a lot of data on what types of revolutions work and what times don't. Jesus, I'm not gonna highlight any calls for violence, okay? You guys, I don't know. All right, so if nobody's gonna join, I'm just gonna focus on. Oh, yeah, somebody is joining. Ren is here. Oh, hello, Ren.
Hey, how are you, Armin?
Good. How are you?
Oh, good. Rested.
Nice. I rested as well. Yeah. So, what are your thoughts on this?
I'm sorry?
What are your thoughts on this topic?
I'm sorry, I didn't get a chance to look at the topic.
Oh, okay. So you just saw the post under the members. Maybe I should actually, whenever I post under the community tab, when I post like join me live, maybe I should mention what the topic is. So we just went over the news of the execution of Navid Afkari by the Iranian government. So that was what we're discussing, and we were talking. Yeah, it's done. It just happened.
Oh shit!
It just happened. Did you? Yeah, there was a huge online campaign for trying to save him. Let me read some of the comments on the live chat for you. 1987 is saying, Not true. Chinese Empire had a lot of farmers. Some people are saying in the live chat that there needs to be a revolution in Iran, but some people are saying revolutions rarely work. But 1987 is saying Chinese Empire had a lot of farmer revolution and Iran history as well. But we have a lot of examples for revolutions that failed and make things worse, and we have also examples for revolution that ended up working. I mean, the most famous one is United States against the UK, right? I mean, look at United States now. So that one ended up working. But what do you think?
I think that more often than not, revolutions, the ones that work, become bloody, right?
Yeah.
That's because, I mean, like, it's an ugly situation, and either it's a very slow reform that takes place, or it's like a violent one, which, like, if you take a look at the whole thing in America that's happening right now with Chaz and everything, that was a violent revolution in a way. It was a mini revolution. They took over a city and they couldn't govern it. I don't know, man. It's messed up.
I think what data shows is that the most successful revolutions, the ones that were successful and gave you the best results, were the most peaceful ones, right? So it seems like if your revolution if your new government started with blood, it will stay bloody, right? So that's basically, I mean, this is what, I mean, even in recent history, I mean, Nelson Mandela, Gandhi, Martin Luther King, the greatest changes that has been the most successful changes seems to have been happening by the revolutionary leaders that were the most obsessed with keeping it peaceful, right? So that's what it seems. But I have two more people right now, Ren, that I'm going to bring up. But
Sure.
your take, but thank you so much for your take. That was interesting. Thank you.
Yeah, welcome.
We'll come back again, okay? Like, don't, No, by the way, guys, no take here is like, even if I push back against your take here, please don't get discouraged to come up and talk to me about it, okay? I'm interested in what you have to say, even if I disagree with it, okay? Thank you, Ren.
All right. Welcome.
All right. Let's see. Soraya is here. Soraya.
Hi, Armin.
Hey, how are you?
Hey, yeah, fine. How are you? Okay,
Good.
anyways, my take means I want to ask, what kind of revolution are people expecting in such country? Because, as far as I know, that when there means in my country, okay, I'm putting an example. In my country, there was like 3,000 years of slavery. It was a different scenario, but it was a slavery of a religion only, okay? And then Britishers came, and that's slavery, the system of slavery got disturbed, okay? In same way, is Iran under the caliphate of Islam? That
No.
I want to ask. Okay.
The caliphate, the caliphate thing is a Sunni thing. This is another. Okay. This is a different
another
kind
thing.
of nonsense. This is a vilayat faqih. But go on.
Okay, but it is a kind of slavery only, means religious domination. It is overall, right?
Yes.
Okay. So, is there a possibility that from external means? I don't think there is a hope remaining for Iran from internal revolution, because I don't think. So, is it possible that we can push them from outside, like some countries from other governments will push Iran to do this or do that? Means what we can say international diplomacy, right? Is it possible? What do you think?
Okay, so I agree with you that if you want to, there's so many different opinions about this, right? Some people want to focus from building a revolution from within. Some people think there needs to be external help, right? And even within Iran, people are divided over that, right? Very divided over this, right? When it comes to internal push, like internal revolution, I don't think there's any chance for that to be successful unless the people get access to weapons for somehow, right? Because no matter how much Iran's economy gets crushed under sanctions, as long as the government has the monopoly over violence, they will be able to they will be able to tolerate all of the economic sufferings and survive, right? So that's not gonna, and I don't know whether getting weapons to the hands of people. By the way, I'm not advocating for any violence. I'm just telling you what the reality on the ground is, right? What could potentially, if we're only relying on the people in Iran, the only way is to either get some weapons into the hands of the people on the ground, or to get the people that already have weapons to do some, work on them and try to maybe get them to join the people, right? There's only go on.
Well, as far as I know that using weapons will not be any kind of means it will not be any kind of solution. It will not lead us to any kind of right conclusion, right output. What I can expect is means what everyone can expect is some kind of external pressure from Iran. And I'm really curious that isn't COVID affecting Iran? Is Iran immune of COVID? Isn't something strange happening in Iran due to COVID?
Oh yeah, no, Iran is suffering. It's one of the leading, it's one of the worst hit countries in the world with COVID. It's suffering. It was already suffering financially, and it's now suffering even more. It's really devastating. But the problem is that it's devastating mostly to the people rather than the government. Do you know what I mean? So, I mean, the more devastating. I mean, the only way that this could start a revolution is that it gets so devastating that more and more people are willing to just give up anything and risk everything to fight against the government. That's the only. But again, it's not going to work, because what are you going to use against the government? Okay, what are they going to use? The government has way more. No matter how poor the government gets, they still have access to the vast majority of the weapons. It's just it's almost an impossible task, right?
See, here's one thing. You have been repeatedly thinking about the weapons. That is weapon only the.
I'm not saying this is a good idea or not. I'm just saying if you want a toppling of the government without any external help, I can't imagine how it can happen without that. Maybe it can. I just can't imagine it, right? I'm not saying if it's a good idea or a bad idea, because maybe if they do have guns and then there's a fight, there's going to be 20-year civil war. I don't know. Okay, I can't see. A lot of people come and tell you oh, I know this, this is going to happen and this is going to happen. Those people are talking out of their asses, okay? There's way too many external factors for anybody to come up with any reliable prediction of what happens. But I can just tell you that I cannot imagine how these people will topple their government without any access to weapons, right? I can't imagine, unless we work, we work on the people that, whether in the Artesh or in the Sepah, and try to get them to dissent against their own, the people. Some of the, I don't know how that will work, but again, this is why I wanted to. This is why Atheist Republic's Persian branch is trying to, work on promoting ideas that will make more people question their religious authority. Right? That's what we're trying to do. But but the thing is that that's such a slow process. And people in Iran, they're like, you know what? I can't wait. That's just too slow, man. We cannot take it anymore. But go on. But yeah, and after this, I'm gonna have to bring Dilla is also waiting. So go ahead.
Is United Nations have heard about what was their take on this one, or they haven't noticed only?
I mean, I haven't seen them doing anything. I saw Amnesty International did something, but I don't know if the United Nations did anything. Masih Alinejad seemed to be frustrated with the United Nations, so I'm just going to go. I don't know. I haven't looked into it, but people seem to be frustrated with the lack of action or lack of any push against
Exactly. Yeah. They are supposed to. Means it is good that people are frustrated on United Nations, because they have what we can say. They have the responsibility to keep all the things in line now, according to human rights, right? So they would have looked out. They would have looked over it. They are just turning blind eye over this incident.
I guess our role needs to be now, our roles need to be shaming the international community for their lack of action. I think that's the best we could do right now, so that yeah, I guess I don't know what else to do right now. There is a possibility. There are three opportunities for the Islamic Republic of Iran's government to topple. Like, I think the best three chances that we have in the future is when the eventual crashing of oil prices, right? As more and more people start relying on alternative sources of energy, that is a huge potential for the government to get removed. Khamenei's death will provide a very short window of opportunity for toppling of the regime, and if it's missed, it's a huge missed opportunity that will not get, that people of Iran will not have for a very, very long time after. So when he dies, that's going to be a huge opportunity for toppling of the government. And then one thing that I think, other than a lot of people are like, oh, we don't want to get involved military in any of these things. I think the way to support, the best way, the eventual okay, so like Elon Musk and other people were talking about creating providing satellite coverage for countries like China, where people have free access to internet without any filters. Like, imagine if that happens with Iran. It's going to be so, like, that access to information and that ability for people to mobilize and communicate with each other without any government intervention, that would be like a huge advantage in the favor of people. So that's something, like, if people care about human rights, that is something that people could push for and ask for get fund. Like, countries like United States could fund that, and that involves no military intervention, but that will give a huge boost to not just dissent in Iran, but dissent everywhere. Dissent in Saudi Arabia, dissent in Iran, dissent in China. Imagine people having free, unfiltered access to internet. That will be huge. So, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. What do you think? Yeah.
Well, means I had a question. Means you are telling that there will be internet access for everyone, but means if that happens, okay, but don't you think that they will use the signal blockers? Means if they don't want people to connect with other all the parts of the world, like India is also a little, means I'm not telling that they're 100% doing it, but here also they have created a bubble that people inside of India will what we can say, will propagate ideas and thinking of within India only. They would not allow external, like you are only like
it's hard.
take
Yeah, but it will be harder. It will be more difficult to filter if you have that, though. Way more difficult. It's just a huge boost in favor of the people. That's what I'm saying. Right.
We hope we literally. I don't know. Okay, if in case I come up with anything, I'll rejoin. Okay.
Okay. Sounds good. So, bye. Let me see Della.
Hey.
Hey. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me. So my thing is that I'm a closeted ex-Muslim, and whenever I try to talk to my family about things happening in the Islamic world, even though they're sort of liberal, they always think that I'm talking against Islam. Like, let's say, for instance, if I talk about the execution of the wrestler, they'll think, oh, you're just saying that because you want to be anti-Islam. And I don't know how to bring it to their attention and see that I'm not talking about an Islamic issue. I'm talking about it from a humanistic point of view.
What's your goal in telling them that?
I just sort of want to bring awareness to the whole situation, because not only in Iran, but where my family comes from is very close to Nigeria, and northern Nigeria is very, very, very Islamic. And they also have, blasphemy laws and execution laws. So I just sort of want to make my family aware that this is not a good thing. This is not an Islamic thing. Well, it is an Islamic thing, but it's not something that you should follow when it comes to following Islam.
Okay, so even though, I think Islam is actually even worse than this, right? But if your intention is to bring attention to human rights violations by Islamic countries, and you don't want them to think that you are attacking Islam by doing that, maybe mention that, I mean, this is a line a lot of Muslims use, that the problem is with Muslims, not with Islam. I don't know if I would say that, because if it comes from me, that would be dishonest, because I think the problem is with Islam. I mean, do you think the problem is with Islam?
I do think the problem is with Islam, but I'm saying that there's a lot of other good teachings, good teachings that Islam teaches, and that they can follow that instead of following the good and the bad.
Okay, maybe so. To be honest, it's like to get their guards down, but also not lie to them about the problems with Islam. Just say that this is not about Islam being bad. This is about Muslims being bad. This is embarrassing. This is bad for Islam. Oh, tell them this. Say this is bad for the image of Islam. If you care about the image of Islam, you will call this out. So people, you know what I mean? You clean your own house before you point at other people, right? So maybe you could tell them, for the sake of Islam, we need to address problems within our family ourselves, instead of letting other people point to that for us.
They always counter with but there's bad things in Christianity too, and I'm like, I thought Islam was supposed to be the final religion, and the religion that's the most truths to God.
Well, tell them that we'll let the Christian, maybe I'm thinking out loud. I don't know if it's a good idea, right? And maybe say Christians should call out problems within Christianity, within the Christian community. They should do that. And we as Muslims, we are responsible for pointing out problems within our community. If we care about Islam, we would try to fix problems within our ummah. Right? Tell them that this is a pro-Islam move, not an anti-Islam move. You know what I mean? This is because I care for Islam. I mean, this is lying now, but this is strategic lying. Because I care about Islam, and because I care about the image of Islam, I would want to hold ummah responsible, accountable, instead of just letting everybody outside of the ummah holding us accountable. And yet there's problems with Christianity, and the Christians should talk about problems within their own community, and we should do the same thing about our community. Does that work on them?
Yeah, I think that would work. I'll try that.
Okay.
Thank you, Armin.
Yeah, no, thank you so much. It was really fun talking to you. Thank you for coming in. All right. Wow, that was interesting. Wasn't that interesting? 1987 saying a peaceful Muslim would generally be a Quranist. No, guys, here's the thing. The vast majority of Muslims are not violent at all. Like even a little bit violent, okay? And the vast majority of Muslims are not Quranists. And you might be like, well, how could somebody believe in the Quran and the Hadith and be peaceful? Well, because people are hypocrites, and they don't even know. Some people are hypocrites, and some people don't even know what the religion stands for. Most Muslims have never read the Quran. Most Muslims have never read the Quran, even though they say they believe in it 100%. And even the Muslims who have read the Quran, they're just reciting it without actually knowing what they're reading. And imagine if most Muslims have never read the Quran, what are the chances that they've read the Hadith? I mean, even the people who have memorized the entire Quran, a lot of them have never read the Hadith. So what does that tell you about the other Muslims? Okay, again, most Muslims are better than Islam. Not just most Muslims, the vast majority of Muslims are better than Islam. Okay, not just the Quranists. No, again, people, Hindu historians say most Muslims are Mecca Muslims, as Ayan Hirsi Ali described it. No, it's not even that. Most Muslims do not even worry about whether they're Madani Muslims or Mecca Muslims. They don't follow. They just Muslims are not like robots where you put the Quran code in them and they just follow it. It's not like Muslims are influenced by many, many different ideas. The Islam is just one of those hundreds of sources of influence. And thankfully so, for most Muslims, it's a small source of influence, right? Again, Muslims are influenced not just by Islam. They're influenced by their parents, by their friends, by the books they read, the podcasts they listen to, the movies they watch, by their own sense of sympathy, their natural genetical source of care that they're born with. All of that is like 19, and Islam is just one of those many other things that they're influenced from. And for most of them, it's a small, the more of an influence Islam is on your life, the worse of a person you end up being. But again, thankfully, most Muslims, it's a small source of influence on their behavior. Again, I think humanity wins over Islam. Humanity wins over Islam, not just, it's again, the fight against Islam is not the fight against Islam is not a fight between non-Muslims and Muslims, okay? The fight against Islam is also a fight within each individual person, even within each Muslim. You could still be, like, the progress that we could make is not to just make Muslims non-Muslims. The progress could also be the people who remain Muslim to be more influenced by non-Islamic sources than Islamic sources. You know what I mean? And again, that anti-Islam struggle is happening within the mind of every Muslim, and we are winning that war as well, even among people who are winning. I think, and again, we have an advantage because people are loving, people are caring, and I think that natural desire to care for each other is such a powerful force in our favor to win over other destructive sources of influence, right? So again, when I say humanity is winning over Islam, that's not a battle between as non-Muslims against Muslims. Humanity is winning over Islam within each individual Muslim as well. Yeah, guys, I already covered the main topic, so you guys decide where I go. 1987 saying, Armin, did you just instructed Dilla to do taqiyya on her parents? Isn't this the opposite of taqiyya? Isn't this like, come on, you can't expect ex-Muslims who are in the closet to be honest about their views, right? Taqiyya is like the opposite of what I just did, right? Like, this is we should come up with what is opposite of taqiyya, where your actual views are non-Islamic, but you have to pretend that you are Islamic. But with Dilla, like, there's so many people in Dilla's shoes right now. So many people who are ex-Muslims, but they cannot be honest to their to friends and family about it. Darkest, it sounds like reform to me. That's because you don't understand reform. No, reform means lying about what Quranic verses actually mean and not having to. Okay, it's not about the survival tactic. Okay, guys, watch my videos of on reform and why I'm against Islamic reform. I'm not against Muslim. I'm for Muslims can reform. Islam can never reform. I am for Muslims reforming. I'm not for Islam reforming, because Muslims can reform by being less influenced by Islam, but Islam itself will never be reformed. Islam itself will always be a backward, barbaric, violent, disgusting, anti-human, anti-woman, anti-gay, anti-skepticism, anti-science, anti-everything good, all of that. Islam will always be that, okay? That will never reform. That ideology will never be reformed. Muslims can reform. Muslims can reform by being less Islamic. See the difference? Darka is laughing at me. Darka knew that Darka, you're going to trigger me, didn't you? God damn it, Darka, I fell for it. 1987 saying, no, Armin, you instructed Dilla to lie in order to save her life. Shia. I don't know if she's going to be saving it. Like, you can still lie even if your life is not going to be in danger. If you're, nobody should expect you to suffer through being disowned by your family and the people that you love, and all of that. Like, even death is not the only death is not the only thing that we should expect ex-Muslims to avoid. I mean, it's really hard to go through other forms of, other consequences of being open about you being an ex-Muslim. I did disagree with Dilla on something. Dilla said there are some positive teachings in Islam. There are no positive teachings in Islam. There are absolutely zero positive teachings in Islam. And in fact, the so-called positive parts of Islam are the most dangerous parts of Islam. Okay, the so-called like warm, fuzzy, that's another argument. But again, if you guys wanted me to challenge me on another day on this topic, I could make a live stream about this to tell you why there's zero positive teachings in Islam, and why the parts that people think is positive is the worst parts. It's the worst parts. Gays, you're saying, guys, this is a semantic thingy. The minute it's reform, it's no longer Islam. Yeah, and that's important. Well, yeah, I mean, you shouldn't call it Islam if it's not Islam, because it's confusing and it's going to hurt our progress of destroying Islam. We're not here to reform Islam. We're here to end Islam. I will make an entire video on every single point. No, maybe I'll do a 10-part series of reason, because if I make it one video against why reforming Islam is a shit idea, that would be like a 5-hour video. So maybe I should make a 10-part series. Reason 1, why Islamic reform is shit idea. Reason number 2, I don't know, maybe I could come up with a better title. So just the title, why Islamic reform is a shit idea. Come up with a title that YouTube will be okay with, and I will make a 10-part series. If you guys want. Ethan is saying, if collective conscious is God, and the collective conscious comes from humanity, then God is defeating Islam. Yeah, but that's not God. That's why when I wrote my book, Why There Is No God, I defined God as a conscious creator of the universe. So, and I also have a chapter for why redefining God with these other definitions is not a good idea, and we shouldn't do that. But I see your point, Ethan. Let me just do a few other comments. We're getting a little bit off topic here, but it's okay because we're ending the video in a few minutes. The only God is the almighty algorithm and the almighty dollar. Yeah, you're talking about the YouTube gods. Yes. The only gods that we fear here is the YouTube gods. Blessing be upon them, even though fuck them, but we have to see blessing be upon them, because they will smite us if we don't respect them. Guys, please do the like and subscribe button, because the YouTube gods, that's the sacrifice that they demand for any of these videos to get their blessing. So please feed the algorithm, feed the YouTube gods. At least we have to be grateful that they don't demand blood. They just demand your likes and subscribes and hitting the notification bells and hitting the share button. So please feed them. Feed the YouTube gods. Feed them, please, everybody, so that these videos go and gets more attention, because we're doing good here, right? We're doing some good here. Like, reward me with likes. Is it too much to ask for you guys? Is it too much to ask for you guys to just hit the like? Like, you see, we're doing good here. Just reward me with a like. Doesn't cost you anything. Just hit the like button. Wait, did I hit the like button of this video? Jesus, I'm not doing that. Okay, CBS Evening News, like. God damn it. I forgot to like that video. Okay. They helped us. They did the coverage. I should have liked it. I'm a hypocrite. Frost by saying Islam has too many mechanisms to prevent it from changing from, for instance, bid'ah. Yeah, but I'm not saying, okay, so here's my argument, is that it's not that it can't be reformed. I am going beyond that. I'm saying it shouldn't be reformed. Even if it could be, even if it could be reformed, it's a shit idea. It's a shit idea. It shouldn't be reformed. It should die. Islam should die as an ideology. And again, please notice that I'm saying Islam, you fucking morons who think that I'm pro-genocide. I'm not saying Muslims. I'm saying Islam, you fucking idiots. Okay? the way you kill Islam is by reaching out to people who believe in that ideology, which involves befriending people who believe in that ideology. My anti-Islam activism requires you people to go and befriend Muslims. Okay, it's more difficult for me to do it, but I'll teach you how I used to do it. Sal is saying Armin is 100% right. Well, Sal, you're 100% right because you're saying Armin is 100% right. But 1987 saying, I am just joking with Armin. You should read the history of Britain democracy. It happened non-violently. The king gave up its power by choice. All right. Okay, I'm going to end this here. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you for being a member. Guys, Sexy Cali is ready. We're going to have that out soon. The final touches on the design is coming up. It's going to be available on t-shirts. And also, for some reason, our Patreon count keeps growing, even though we already hit the 150 count for us to start the Sexy Cali project. So now we're at 162. So I'm going to tell you guys, once we hit 170, we're going to hire a video editor that is going to take these live streams that is usually about an hour. And that video editor is going to try to take 10-minute parts out of it, so that people who want to watch shorter videos could just watch that 10-minute highlight of it. So again, we're only eight patrons away from having, for me, paying somebody to do that video edit. So you can support us in the description to our Patreon. And again, do not support us. Do not support us financially. If you are struggling financially in any way, please do not even think about it. There are other ways you can support us. You could like and subscribe and hit the notification bell. Gajan is saying and also you can follow us on Twitch. Link in the description. I didn't realize there was a difference between the preferred bell and the always bell. Yes, please when you hit the bell notification, make sure you hit all. Okay, and also, guys, I need better suggestions from you guys on our Discord server. Join our Discord server. Go to the channel saying video recommendations and give me some juicy videos to reviews, not like stuff that nobody watches. Like, it needs to be interesting. Armin is simp for likes. No, you got what? I don't know. That's not how it works. Yeah, Sexy Kelly. Yeah, Sexy Kelly is coming up. All right, guys, everybody's leaving, so I'm gonna say goodbye to you guys. Yeah, Sexy Kelly, sexy Kelly. Yes. Anyways, guys. Share this video, please, and I'm about to go, but not before I yell at you and tell you that you need to subscribe and like and hit the notification bell. Every single one of you, every single person watching, follow us on Twitch, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and select all now. Do it now.